DeVante's message is exactly what this industry needs right now. 30 million in volume. National speaker, best-selling author of Just One Layup.
A little kid like me from Oak Harbor, I can't do the big things I see on TV. A wife who was sick and with a son who was struggling in school, and I stuck with it.
On a simple but powerful belief that one intentional step changes everything. DeVante, welcome to X Factor Marketing. Today's guest is someone who's built his entire career on a simple but powerful belief that one intentional step changes everything. DeVante Blow is a real estate pro, national speaker, best-selling author of Just One Layup, and the creator of Break Fear, Build Freedom community. In just his few years in real estate, he closed over 30 million in volume. But what makes DeVante different isn't just the numbers, it's the mindset behind them. He coaches agents who are stuck, scared, or playing too small. And he helps them build a playbook that actually fits their life. In a market where a lot of agents are questioning whether they belong in this business at all, DeVante's message is exactly what this industry needs right now. DeVante, welcome to X Factor Marketing.
Thank you so much for having me.
I have been so looking forward to this conversation today.
Wow.
So I want to jump right in and I want to go into the deep end.
Okay.
Because you are all about mindset and you're all about what happens like between our ears.
1,000%.
And I'm so aligned with that. So let's talk about fear because that's what you talk a lot about with people. So that mindset and that holding people back, what does that actually look like for people in real estate?
That's a great question. You know, it shows up in the small moments, right? The moment where you know you need to make your calls, but you're like, oh man, what if they say no, right? Or you're going to the listing appointment, but they've told you that they're interviewing multiple agents.
Yes.
You know, it's almost like people can smell it on you or feel it on you. And you start to walk in that, you know what I'm saying? And so this actually came from a personal place of my own where I was working at a restaurant industry for about 8 years before I got into real estate. And I knew that I wanted something bigger for myself and for my family. But I'm from a little island called Oak Harbor. And I was like, a little kid like me from Oak Harbor, I can't do the big things I see on TV. And so I played small for a long time until finally COVID was, you know, with respect to everybody who suffered, COVID was the best thing that happened to me.
Right.
It shut down the restaurant. So I had to make a decision.
And why was it real estate? Like what drew you to real estate? Especially if you knew you had that mindset of playing small and can I really, and what does that look like? Like, how do you make that leap?
Yeah. So funny thing, I actually fell in love with someone's mindset. And that person, Tim Cornwell, who's with EXP, he just so happened to be in real estate. When I tell this story, I tell people all the time, he could have been selling Cutco knives or vacuums, and that would have been my mode of, you know, transportation, essentially.
Yes.
But it was real estate, you know, and that's how I got into real estate. So
interesting. Okay. So, I mean, that is quite a leap though.
Yes.
So take us through that mindset shift, because there's one thing to say, I believe I can do more. I can go from where I'm at today to a different place. But there's a lot of steps.
Yes.
And you talk about those like intentional actions. Give us more on that.
Yeah. So you have to be intentional, right? I went from the restaurant industry to helping people sell and buy the largest purchase of their life, right? And so it's funny, I tell the story. When I first got into real estate, I didn't even know what a linen closet was. That was a towel closet. You know what I mean? Like, and so we're doing.
And they're probably not even folded.
They're not even folded, right?
You know,
just kind of just throw them back there.
Yeah.
And so you know what? I sought out people who were living the life that I wanted to live, and they were selling their real estate that I wanted to sell. And I was intentional. I would call them. You know, I'd email them. Mindy Price, an amazing friend. I called her immediately. It was like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. From heads to tails, can you help me out? And we walk through those basic things. And I think a lot of people are afraid, even when you make that jump, to look like they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
I didn't care because I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't want to get in trouble.
I think that is so important to, first of all, ask for help.
Yes.
and then to be okay in the I don't have all the answers. And I am going to reach out and ask for the help to get the answers. So how did you get comfortable with that though? I mean, you're a man, right? Like you're a strong, proud man. I think that is very difficult, especially for a strong, proud man to ask for help.
Yeah. I would credit my grandparents. I was raised by my grandparents in a military household, right? So it was very, on cue. However, we had such a beautiful community that asking for help didn't mean that you failed. It meant that you're not alone. And
I think that is great. Say that again.
Asking for help doesn't mean that you failed. It just means you're not alone.
Okay, we're putting that is going to be a reel. That is going to be a social post. Like I'm saying this out loud so we remember this because I think that is a clip that I want to make sure that we get from this episode because that is so critical.
Thank you. Well, that is what I learned, and I've been like that since I can remember. Asking for help really, really early and often. I'd rather ask for your help and then do it the right way than try to fumble through it, which some people it works for, but for me, I didn't want to do that. So.
That's right. Yeah. So it's either fear or forward, right?
Yeah.
And we either stay in fear or we move forward.
Yeah.
So you moved forward.
Yes, ma'am.
You've built a great real estate career and you have moved into giving back along the way.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that journey and about Just One Layup and how that became part of the journey as well.
Yeah. So a shout out again to Mindy Price. This book had been in my heart for about 10 years. When I first wanted to write it, it was for college kids, to help them understand like, hey, the sports that you play, you can take a lot of the things that you learn from that and apply it to the real world. And so when I got into real estate, I was like, hold on, you can apply a lot of that stuff in sports to real estate as well.
Yeah, I love that analogy because I grew up an athlete.
Yes.
I love sports, still play sports and watch sports. And so much of it is transferable to what we do. And the Just One Layup, I mean, is such a great metaphor. But it's so many metaphors from the sports world to the professional world.
Absolutely.
And also the tie-in from, I think, children and, young adults into making that pivot into being in a professional setting applies.
Yeah.
So I love that you made that transference there.
Yeah. So it actually came from in my second year of real estate, my wife, we found out my wife was struggling with cancer. And so we made that battle. And through that battle, I would say I went about 6 months without selling real estate. And so my wife we had to drive all the way down to Seattle for her cancer care. And then I was not selling real estate, so there's one point where I had $50 to my name. And what I did was I got back to the basics, right? I'm a very outgoing person. I love the community. So I took somebody out for lunch. And the bill came out to $43.16. Mind you, I had $50. And that person ended up that next month selling their house and buying a house with me. And that ended up being, at that time, the best year of my career. And so the Just One Layup mindset is, listen, a lot of us want to take the big threes or the half court shot and look flashy.
Yes.
But oftentimes, just get to the basket and take the highest percentage shot that you can take, which is a layup. Make those 5 calls, do an open house, do whatever you can. That is the easiest shot that you can make to start building momentum so that you can hit that big 3 in life. And so that's where the book came from.
That is so great. I talk a lot to agents, especially newer agents or agents during a tough market of like, it's okay to work the leases. Like it doesn't have to be the luxury sale.
Right.
Work a lease. And work another lease. And that lease might turn into a $500,000 sale, $1 million sale, a multi-million-dollar sale. Like you said, it's okay. Like just take the layup.
Take the layup.
It doesn't have to be the 3-pointer.
No.
Because I think that we get in our heads that it's got to be the flashy shot, right? It's got to be the game winner. It doesn't have to be.
No.
It's just, you've got to be, just take the point.
Yes.
Just take the point. It's not all glamour. Sometimes it's just the work and it's the shot.
Yep.
And that's why I say take the lease.
Yes,
like,
take
it's
the
okay.
lease.
It's okay. Like, and you'll talk to agents that will say like, working leases got me through the hard times, or it got me started.
Right.
And right now in the market that we're in, like I've been having some of those conversations with people that are saying like, it's tough right now.
Yeah.
And you got to do what you got to do. Okay, fascinating. I love that approach for sure. So we are in a really hard market. Good segue there, or bad segue, depending on how you look at it. So what are you coaching agents on right now to get them through and to keep their mindset right in this market that we're in right now?
Yeah. So right now, and it's agent specific, right? I don't like throwing blanket things out there. However, I believe that our community, our SOI, is going to be the biggest thing that you can invest in. I love doing community events. I've rented out movie theaters. I've had block parties, right? And those, I don't go in those saying, hey, who's ready to buy, sell, or invest? I go in those saying, hey, how can I add or give back to the community? And in return, the community gives back to me, right? So for some people, it may be a longer play, but that's okay because it's going to be a long play, right? Like you're going to be sustained for a long time. And so I actually run this SOI challenge in summertime where we're just writing note cards, sending video texts, sending text and reaching out to our sphere of influence just to warm them back up and make sure, hey, I'm at top of mind.
So what do you say on a video text that you send to your SOI?
Yeah, so that's it. And I coach agents. It's a very short clip. If it's 30 seconds or 60 seconds, you went too long.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing? My mom always told me that when I'm thinking about somebody, reach out. So I just want to reach out and say, how you doing? Boom, and send it. And if you stutter, if you mess up a word, still send it because it's perfect the way that it is.
That's awesome. And what's a typical response that you get from sending that video text?
My favorite is when people send a video text back. It happens more often than you think. Yeah, and the open rate is so high because they're like, wait, he took time out of his day to send a video.
Yes.
And so people will text back pretty quick too. And it's like, oh my gosh, thank you. How are you? I've been great. Or sometimes they just straight call you right back.
Yes.
Which is like the huge win. So I'd say if I send out 10 video texts, I'm getting at least 8 replies in that same day.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
And will you alternate? Like if you sent me a video text, say last month, will you send me maybe a text, maybe the next time you reach out to me? Like, do you alternate back and forth?
So I let it be natural, right? Yeah. And if we, for some reason, aren't just connecting, then I'll send a note card or whatever, and then I'll put you at the bottom of the list. And when you come back up, I'll do it again, right? So you want to put people on a seasonal calendar.
Yeah.
And I don't want to reach out to you every day or every week. Like, hey, you didn't reach back. What's going on?
Hey, did you not get my text? Did you not see my video?
Right? No, put them on a calendar.
My mama said it's impolite not to reply.
Come on now. So yeah, that's how we do it.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. So let's talk a little bit about consistency because you just said like, I'm not going to be on them, but it's important to be consistent.
Yes.
So how do you coach agents? Because we know that consistency is something that we talk about, but it's not necessarily something that we execute on really well.
Yeah.
So how do you help agents with that?
So that's part of the playbook, right? Think of Shaq. Shaq is Shaquille O'Neal. He's not a point guard. I'm not going to have him playing point guard.
Right.
And like Kobe Bryant, I'm not going to have him playing center down low with the bigs.
Yeah.
So, right. And so we built out that playbook. If you're really good at open houses, hey, let's be consistent at open houses. If you're really good at making 100 or 1,000 calls a week, let's nail that. And that'll be your mode, of transportation essentially. Yeah. And so, that I believe that you do what you do best and you hire out the rest. Okay. So stay in your lane. And once you're in your lane, just cruise. And that's how you be consistent. How
do you figure out, though, your lane? Because I think this is one of the challenges that agents really have, right? Is they're like, what am I good at? What is my lane? How do I know what I either like to do? Because I think that is a challenge, especially for newer agents, as they're trying to figure out, do I like open houses? Well, I don't have a sphere of influence. You're talking about this SOI. I don't even know what that is, right? So how do you figure out what I'm good at to determine that lane I should be in?
Yeah, if you're a new agent, my advice is, have you ever seen a spacecraft take off? At the beginning, it is just massive output before there's any movement. So go out there and do everything. Do open houses.
Right.
Do them consistently. Do 2 open houses for a week at least, right? Or try the calls or try door knocking. Try everything so that you know what you're good at and I really suck at that.
And don't just do it once.
Right.
It's not like don't make 4 calls a day and be like, oh, I'm not good at those calls.
Yeah. No, because you'll find out.
I tried it.
Yeah. I found out when I first came in real estate, I was like, I'm not door knocking. I'm not doing open houses.
Mm-hmm.
Now I teach classes on open houses because I love them so daggone much, right? So go out there and you're not gonna know. It's just like when you first start dating, you don't know what you don't know, right? I hate to make it so simple, but you don't know what you don't know until you get out there and it's like, okay, cool. I was afraid my wife didn't like bald guys, but here we are, guys. So.
Here we are. All right. Okay. We're just moving on. On that one, I'm not even touching that one. I'm moving on.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So try everything.
Yes.
And then zone in on what you're good at
yes.
and be consistent with it and hold yourself accountable then to that. Those open houses,
yes.
the door knocking, the calls, doing those things.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about showing up online because that is an important part of getting our brands out there and building our unique brands.
Absolutely.
How do you help agents get started in doing that? Because that's another place where fear creeps back into our mindset.
Absolutely.
And it's a big uncomfortable moment for all of us. So how do we park that fear and wrestle with that fear again?
Yeah. What's beautiful is those quick texts that I was telling you about, video texts, those are the preamble, right? Like if you can get good at or comfortable, with sending those texts, and that's why I tell them don't edit it. If you stutter, still send it. Why? Because one day you're going to be sitting in front of the camera, just like I just did, and you're going to stutter.
Yes.
Right? Keep going, right? And that'll help you get comfortable with being online. And then also talk about something that you're confident in. If you ask me to talk for 20 minutes about ballet, it's gonna be bad. I have no idea.
It could actually be quite interesting.
It would be hilarious for you guys, horrible for me, right? But if you talk,
still interesting.
Yeah, still interesting. But if you wanted me to talk about real estate or football or basketball, I can talk to you until I'm blue in the face because I understand that.
Yes.
Right. So be knowledgeable about what we're talking about.
Yes. Yeah. Do you advise use a script or not use a script?
I advise if you need to use a script, use it for a little bit until you get your rhythm. To this day, I have bullet points. Yes. I don't use a script.
I like bullet points too. Because if I always use the kind of, offhand sarcastic.
Yep.
If you can't talk like we would talk to one another in real life, like that is how you're going to show up when you show up to meet a client.
Yep.
And if you need a script to show up to meet the client, it's probably going to not go well.
Right.
So you should just be able to talk.
Yep.
Now, when I'm showing up to meet a client, I've got my bullet points of like what we want to talk about.
Exactly.
What I want to tell them about the house.
Yep.
How I want to ask them questions. Like I have those bullet points. Same thing when I turn the camera on.
Yep.
I should have those bullet points for the conversation that we want to have.
Absolutely. Love that.
Yeah. So very similar. All right. So what is the difference between being a coach and being a cheerleader for someone?
Wow. Yeah. So when I think of cheerleaders, it's funny. Cheerleaders, they do what they do, right? Like they're cheering and they're not watching the game. They're having a good time. Every time, I'm at one of my son's games, they're just going win, lose, or draw. But the coaches are out there in the fight with you. And the coaches sometimes have to tell you, hey, man, that sucked. Let's do this again. Let's try it this way. You know what I mean? So they're in there with the good, the bad, or indifferent. They're with you until you get on the field, right? And then you got to go out and practice it. And so I think of coaches as people who walk with you through the mud and through the hard conversations that you need to have. Someone who wants the best for you, but they also are able to see, believe, and call out the best in you. Right. And it sucks sometimes, right? It's like your parents, right? It's like, oh my gosh, Dad, just let me not go to practice today. My son says that all the time. I'm like, nobody, you need to go because you made a commitment, right? And at that moment, I'm being a little bit of a coach to him, right? Because I'm pulling out the best in him, even though he doesn't see it. And I've had some amazing coaches who, honestly, if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
So it works.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that agents need to find a coach who will do that.
Yes.
Right? Who will go into battle for them
Yeah.
and will call them out
Yes.
when they need to get called out versus a coach who is maybe masquerading as a cheerleader.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Because if we're just a cheerleader high-fiving you all the time and not calling you out on your BS, you're not going to get to reach your potential.
Not at all.
Have you seen the video that's been going viral over the weekend of the basketball coach and the athlete?
Yes.
Like that's a coach,
love that.
Right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Where she said like, you've got this, right? You've got it in you. Now go out there and do this.
Yeah.
And she went out there and did it.
Man. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That is
like that's a coach, right? Like
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
That was like, I love watching them, both the athlete and the coach talk about that moment and what was going on because it took a little heat initially when people, I think, saw it and was like, is she yelling at her? Like, what's going on? But then when you heard them talk about it, it was really a great coaching moment.
Beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Beautiful moment.
Sometimes we need other people to believe in us more than we believe in ourselves.
Yep.
And that's what a real coach does.
Yes, ma'am.
And I feel like you do that for people in your world, in your circle. You believe in people strongly.
Strongly. You know, because we all have, there's so much more. We're stronger than what we believe, more resilient than what we believe, and we absolutely have more in us than what we believe. And I remember being that little kid who was like thinking that I'm going to be in Oak Harbor, little Whidbey Island for the rest of my life, you know, until somebody saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, you know, and pulled me to the carpet. And so it's moments like that to where it's like, if I don't give back, or if I don't, you know, reach back and pull somebody up the same way that I was, what am I here for? You know, so coaching is something that is near and dear to my heart.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I have that same, I grew up as an athlete as well and have those same moments of, you know, just being that insecure little girl where a coach just like believed in me and it blueprinted and imprinted my entire life. So we take that into our professional lives,
1000%.
into our personal lives as adults in so many important ways.
Yeah.
That's great. So the podcast is called X Factor Marketing.
X Factor.
And X Factor is something that I believe we all have. It's that superpower that makes us unique, that we bring to everything that we do. We're kind of talking about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the opportune moment to ask you, what do you think your X Factor is?
Ooh, wow. What is my X Factor? That's such a great question. You know, I just go back to what we were just talking about, you know, being able to see, believe, and call out the best in everybody, you know, in a way that is not demonstrative, like, hey man, you suck, you could do better. No, I'm going to put it in a way that you can receive, you can chew on, you know, something that's like, it's reflective. So where you come to that conclusion and you feel like, oh my gosh, that's what he was talking about, you know? And so I would say that's my X Factor, you know, just be out there and helping people out. In the way that I do, unique to me. So
that's awesome. That's a great X Factor for sure. Final question.
Yes, ma'am.
You talk about everything that you're building. You're building it for legacy and for the next generation.
Yes.
If there's somebody who's listening who's a month away from quitting, from giving up, what would you say to that person?
Wow. I would say, you know, honestly, just keep going. And the reason why I say keep going is because I was in your shoes just a couple years ago, $50 to my name, not like, you know, in my pocket and I have more at home, to my name. And I stuck with it, with a wife who was sick and with a son who was struggling in school. And so I understand the plight. I understand that it gets heavy, but trust me, keep going, keep waking up and keep doing just one layup. Just do the easiest thing that you can do that day. If all you can do is 5 calls, if all you can do is 1 open house or door knock 5 doors, go do it and win the day. That's what I tell them.
Thank you, DeVante.
Thank you so much.